All right, let's try this again. A little bit of technical difficulties. I hate when the crap happens. I think part of the problem was I had too many damn windows open on this laptop here, so we should be okay now. What's up, boys and girls? It's your pal right here, Black Avenger, aka the Black Azrael Lee Sanders. You're checking out an all new VRCWR show for this Monday night, November 10th, 2014, as we're talking Fallout from tonight's episode of WWE Raw as it came to us from the UK. Now, for those of you that did not see the episode and maybe you're looking for actual footage, you can always head on over to WWE Fan Nation right here on YouTube. They have highlights from what all you missed. You can also check out some great content over at WWE's website. For those of you that did watch Raw, you know how we do it over here every single Monday night. You know the key is being interactive. So post those comments down below. We'll definitely do our best to make you be a part of this episode. You can also hit me up on Twitter at the RCWR show or on Facebook, babies, to infinity and beyond. That's infinity with an E. Put in the actual number one, Infinity One Productions. Make sure you give this a like, Facebook it, Google Plus it. It is one of the many ways you can spread the good word about our content. Part of the problem that I was seeing with the last stream, because I'm watching a video, the same video that you guys are watching right now at your end, so I can pay attention to lag and all that stuff. And I couldn't see myself. So for me, that was like a right there. So now that we with a link and everything, myself, everything looks to be good. Looks a little fuzzy, but I don't really see any lag going on. Let me know how it is for you guys as far as the stream qualities goes. And for you, your friends, make sure you share this link. An amount of people for the see how many we get back and then more so. All right, so we're on the eve of the Veterans Day holiday here in the nation's capital. Shout out to my fellow DC, Maryland, Virginia residents. You know, we got that concert of valor that's going to be happening at the National Mall. We're going to get to see Bruce Springsteen, Metallica, Carrie Underwood, Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters. I don't really know if it's going to be maybe Foo Fighters or if it's just Dave Grohl, the way they're billing it right now. Looks like it's going to be just Dave Grohl, but hey, anything can happen. So, those of you that's going to be checking that out, definitely hit me up. Let me know what's up. Let me know if you had enjoyed it or not. See a little bit of lagging going on with the live stream here. I'm not really sure what's going on. We got good, nice, clear weather over here. Hopefully, it will improve itself dramatically and will remain consistent for the duration of this show. Let's go ahead. Let's talk about WWE Raw. My broadcast partner tonight, Titus Machiavelli. I think he is sitting this one out. He is telling me he cannot seem to get in. He thinks the weather might have to be a factor as far as his internet quality stream goes. So, Titus, it's all right, man. Just either kick on back, watch the stream, or hey, there's always next Monday night. I know Titus was really looking forward to doing this show tonight because we had such a great, overwhelming response by you guys that had checked out our last Monday night show. I think to date it was like a little bit over 40,000 of you had watched that last show that we did, and I know I can definitely speak on behalf of Titus. I'm sure he definitely agrees in these words that I'm about to speak. We definitely appreciate every single one of you that had checked out last Monday's show. And hey, we hope that in turn it made you decide to subscribe, follow Titus, follow us on Twitter, and just stay attached to all the content that we try to do for you guys on a regular basis. Of course, if you guys have not followed Titus yet, you can do so at Evil Genius Titus. And of course, you can always follow us at the RCWR show. We're going to talk a little bit about Raw, but then I also want to talk about the Montreal Screwjob as a landmark was reached over the weekend. We'll tell you a little bit about that in the later part of the show. For now, though, I know, Titus. It's okay, man. It's okay. I'll represent for us both, man. Titus, send me private messages though if you want me to bring up a point or whatever. If anything, Titus, give me your thoughts about the Montreal screw job. See if you can figure out the landmark that I'm talking about with regards to that. Let's talk Raw. I liked how the show had kicked off as we had the Authority. They basically came out. What was it? The Full Authority? Yeah, the Full Authority had came out as they were basically talking hot game, hot trash to John Cena, telling him, "Hey, you think you're gonna have your team ready in time for Survivor Series? Because the way it's looking right now, nobody really seems to want to be on your team. Oh, well, you got Dolph Ziggler, but he's nothing but a joke." And I like how Triple H actually tried to compare him a little bit to Daniel Bryan and leave it to John Cena to have the quick wits to remind Triple H, "Oh yeah, yeah, Daniel Bryan was the same one that whooped your ass at WrestleMania, right?" I like how he kind of deflected that back to John Cena. We actually had saw the big guy Ryback come out as we were told at the top of the show that in the main event match it was going to be Ryback taking on John Cena one on one. You hear that, you're like, whoa, deja vu. We're kind of like going back to 2012, aren't we? What's going on right here? Ryback comes out, and the Authority, they're pretty pleased to see him, and they're actually trying to recruit him for their team. And John Cena, he tells Ryback, "Hey, look, man, if you want to go on their side, fine. But I mean, let the fans, if anything, have some input. Don't let them dictate where which direction you should go. But if anything, listen to the fans. And if you want to go over to Team Authority, that's your biz or whatever." And I love the funny line that the big guy has said. He says to the Authority, the big guy isn't afraid of the Authority, but the big guy doesn't see John Cena's name on his paychecks. And on that note, he just delivered one gruesome, ugly as power slam, a body slam rather, to John Cena. It was like a really good spot right there. And from there, you're saying to yourself, "Oh snap, Ryback, he like went back to the heel side," and you're kind of scratching your head as you're seeing this going on. You can't help but say to yourself, "Oh man, not after the past 2 weeks of a great reaction that Ryback had." I mean, he came back, he was out for many months. You guys know we told you about the injuries that he has sustained, and he tried to work through those injuries all in the good name of entertaining us, the fans. And to see that he was going back to the route of a heel, you couldn't help but say to yourself, "Great, deja vu all over again. What the hell, WWE?" But kind of seemed as though things would go a little bit in a uplifting type of route by the end of the broadcast. Throughout the night we had saw Kane, we saw Mark Henry, we saw Seth Rollins, all of them individually try to talk to Ryback, let him know how much they appreciate him being on their team and all that. And Ryback pretty much just let it be known, "Look, I have one agenda and one agenda only." And the vibe that Ryback was giving was basically, "Look, I'm just in this for myself. I could give a damn about what's going on with you guys and why you need my services, what you're trying to accomplish at Survivor Series. I'm just looking out for numero uno." That's pretty much what it was about right there. And all three of those guys would actually end up going to the Authority and expressing their grievances. As far as they were concerned, they were a little bit iffy about Ryback being on their team. They actually wanted him out of it and leave it to Stephanie McMahon to try to get everybody rallied up and say, "Look, we all got to be on the same page. We can't do this whole divide and conquer thing, because if we're going to act like this going into Survivor Series, we're going to be defeated." And there's a lot that's on the stake, not just for us, but you guys as well, your families, your livelihoods, you name it. There's a lot that's at stake. So we all really, really need to come together on this. And everybody, for the most part, after they got that little bit of a pep talk, they all kind of seemed to come together on the same page. Let's, on that note, go on ahead and let's talk about that. Well, let's tease you. I was going to talk about the main event match, but let's work our way up to that. Let's quickly run down some of the other stuff that came about. By the way, I do appreciate you guys that's checking us out right now. Your host right here, Black Avenger, aka the Black Azrael, Lee Sanders. You're checking out an all new RCWR show live here on YouTube for Monday night, November 10th, 2014. I see we pretty much had got our regular viewing audience back and a little bit more, so that's good. If you have friends, family, or coworkers that usually check us out right about this time, make sure you share with them the new link. Also, make sure you give this a thumbs up, and of course, you can share it a number of ways, as we had told you earlier. If you didn't catch all that, that's the beautiful part about watching us live right now. You can actually rewind it back to the very beginning if you like. Get yourself caught up. You can hear all the links that we just put out and everything. Quick programming note, there will not be a Tuesday night radio edition of the RCWR show. I don't know, man. I'm kind of tempted to go see this concert of Valor. Even though I'm going to be working, I'm going to try to see if maybe I can go to it. I don't know. Fingers crossed. But we aren't going to be doing a radio edition of the RCWR show mainly because of the Veterans Day holiday. So, to you and yours, happy Veterans Day. Let's continue on with the discussion of tonight's WWE Raw. Some of the matches that we had saw Jack Swagger, who was going to be a part of Team Cena, as John Cena had made the announcement earlier in the night. John Cena, well, he really shouldn't have been bragging about who it was he was recruiting. And I have a thing or two to add about this whole John Cena trying to form his own team of Avengers, if you will. Jack Swagger gets put into this pretty messed up predicament per the authority. He has to go at it by himself without any help from Cena or anybody else that's attached to Cena. He has to take on Seth Rollins. Well, really, he was taking on Seth Rollins, Jamie Nobleboy, woo! Joey Mercury, I'm sure he was there. I'm not really sure if Kane was there. Kane definitely made more than one appearance throughout the night. I don't know about you guys. I'm getting a little bit tired of Kane. I'm getting a little bit tired of the Big Show. I haven't gotten tired of Mark Henry yet, but I'm getting tired of Kane. I'm getting a little bit tired of the Big Show. Those are some precious spots right there that should be going to some younger guys. But I'll talk about that maybe next week or maybe this weekend. Keep your eyes glued to our YouTube channel. Jack Swagger, he would lose to Seth Rollins courtesy of the interference that he was getting from his new boys, his new homies. And I believe from there, Seth Rollins, I want to say he actually did a curb stomp to Jack Swagger. I know the way the commentators had sold it, they said Jack Swagger is out. The way they're kind of making it come off right now, Swagger is done, at least for now. Meanwhile, we had saw a Dean Ambrose Bray Wyatt plug, kind of rehashing some of the things that came about from SmackDown last week. You know, it's got a little bit of the Chris Jericho CM Punk angle. Remember that, guys? That was pretty risque and a little controversial for some people. It felt a little bit too real for them. As it was actually ripping a few headlines from CM Punk's personal life. And this is stuff that CM Punk had originally did on the indie circuit. For those of you that know your CM Punk, and this was just something that was rehashed for the WWE audience, but it didn't really seem to click right with fans. And I'm not going to dive into that because that's an entirely different whole other topic, and I want to just kind of stay focused on Raw. But as I was watching the vignettes when it originally played out on SmackDown, and I'm reminded tonight, it just kind of really felt like the whole CM Punk Chris Jericho angle from a couple of years ago. But you know, I still can't really wrap myself around it. I mean, I know these two guys are going to have a damn good match. Promo wise, I'm a little bit satisfied, but I was expecting a little bit more out of these two guys. I really wish that they would just let these two really have at it. Hopefully, with 2 weeks left to go, maybe you can get to that point. We shall see. But in the meantime, their match has been announced for Survivor Series. They will be taking each other on one. Paige, she had defeated Alicia Fox. She actually got a pretty damn good pop from the UK crowd. As you know, she's from out about in that area. I'm sure Jerry Lawler damn near had a heart attack the way she was on top of Fox. Very seductive pin that was. Little girl ain't got no butt, but I tell you, she almost damn near broke her back arching to try to make you feel as though there was a little something to look at. What Dave Chappelle used to say, nice, good pancake butt, you know? Um, Speaking of Dave Chappelle, while I'm thinking about it, domino effect, special guest for next week's Raw. I don't know if I'm going to be watching it because I damn sure did not see a proper build and hyping up next week's Raw. Apparently, our special guest next week is going to be the Grumpy Cat, the cat that has been creating such social media buzz, and I'm sure it's probably made a lot of money for the people that uploaded it on YouTube. I think I'm gonna skip that one. I may watch a little bit of it just to kind of get an idea what's going on. But the way it is right now, WWE no proper build up for next week's Raw, except for a freaking cat is gonna be hosting. That's just not enough for me. I don't know about you guys, but if that's what you're gonna try to give me to entice me to watch Raw, I would rather kick back and watch Monday Night Football. I don't even like Gotham, but I might watch that. Come on, give me a little bit more. I'm actually going to kick on back and I'm going to watch main event SmackDown this week, NXT, in hopes that maybe they will plan in some type of a proper build up to try to get folks to watch Raw next week, because what they're doing right now, give me some more. Like the Buster Rhymes song goes, you got to give me some more. On a funnier note, as they were plugging Grumpy the Cat, I couldn't help but say to myself, what would make Raw even more entertaining if they really want to go the feline route? Toonsis, the driving cat. What the hell? He wasn't available to host Raw. Those of you that don't remember Toonsis, the driving cat, it was a Saturday Night Live skit where they had this cat who supposedly knew how to drive, and every single time people would ride with Tootsis would drive off the freaking cliff and kill everybody. Yet, because he's a cat and he has 9 lives, he just continued to live. You could probably see some of the shorts here on YouTube as you're checking this out, or maybe afterwards. But I just couldn't help but have a little chuckle when I saw that Grumpy the Cat is hosting next week. I'm saying, what about Toonsis? Toonsis the driving cat. Let's get him instead. He's more freaking entertaining. We saw a couple of backstage segments between Stephanie McMahon, Lana, and Rusev, as Stephanie McMahon was trying to do everything in her power to follow up on what she was trying to accomplish last week, including this week, which is to get the services of Rusev for Team Authority at Survivor Series. Lana telling Stephanie, let me think about it. Once again, Lana tried to hit Stephanie with that same line. Stephanie basically put her in her place and said, look, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. That's pretty much how it works. Your man Rusev wouldn't have the U.S. championship right now if it wasn't for me providing him with that opportunity. Rusev wouldn't have this whole ceremony that he's about to have if it wasn't for me. So again, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. To that ceremony we go. It would get interrupted by Ginger, Mr. Ginger, Sheamus. He tried very hard to look for a nice, good bro kick, but he wasn't able to get it in there. There was a United States rematch too that had immediately followed that, as the match was originally supposed to happen, but it was supposed to happen later on in the night after Rusev had got his celebration on as the new United States champion. Good match. I like the fact that they put a lot of time into that match. When I look at all the matches overall tonight, that match definitely stands out to me the most. Not as good as what they had did last week on the WWE network, but it was equally good. I will definitely give it that. It was definitely it was a good match. It had a nice, good throwback vibe to it. Somebody actually had commented earlier on the earlier stream that we had. I think it was. I don't think it's. Let me refresh real quickly here. I don't think the comments on this stream. I mean, if it is, that's great, but I don't think it is. Let me see. Yeah, it's not on this stream, unfortunately. But somebody had said in the earlier stream that the match kind of had a AWA type of throwback vibe. And I definitely can understand completely where that commenter was coming from, because I was kind of picking up that vibe as well. I didn't really think I was going to be able to get into it like that since I had just saw these guys last week. But this match was actually pretty good. If you didn't watch Raw tonight, you got it on your DVR. I would definitely recommend, of all the matches that I'm singling out, you try to check that one out off the break. Sheamus, by the way, come on now. He did not become the United States champion again. He lost. I'm trying to think how it ended. I think the match ended on a count out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it ended on a count out. Let's see what else had happened with Raw tonight. We saw Ms. Dow, or as I had dubbed it on social media, Two and a Half Men live. As we had saw Damian Sandow, Miz, and Hornswoggle. I'm sure you can put two and two together and figure out why I said what I said as far as Two and a Half Men goes. We had saw them defeat Los Matadors. There used to be a time here where the whole Mizdow segments, it was awesome. And at one point, it was like, well, what the hell is Sandow going to do now? And then it got to a point where Sandow was just hogging up more and more camera time. Now you throw Little Horny in there. Yeah, I said Little Horny. They might not be able to say it anymore because they're going in the whole PG direction or whatever. But I can say it, Little Horny. Um, Too much. I really, really would love it if they could scale back a little bit because it's just really starting to become like overkill. I'm like waiting for Miz to like turn on Sandow already, but I guess we're gonna have to endure this a little while longer until they're able to figure out what exactly they want to do with one Adam Rose. Because, and I thought this was kind of funny because there was actually a couple of comments that came in last Friday night. I can't remember who it was, but it was like more than one person was sending me tweets. I remember getting like a private message. What's your opinion of Adam Rose turning on the bunny? And I'm thinking to myself, if it's Friday night, I'm not watching wrestling. I'm kicking back. I'm catching up on some stuff I recorded on the DVR. I'm watching Constantine. You comic buffs out there, if you aren't watching Constantine yet, I've already done a couple of reviews for it. You can actually check it out here on our channel. I love the series. I recommend you all check it out. Those of you that might be a little bit curious. If you like Supernatural, you like Grimm, you remember the show Brimstone with Peter Horton, John Glover. John Glover, you probably know better as Lionel Luthor on Smallville. You definitely would mess with Constantine. So check it out Friday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern on NBC. Um, I hear this stuff about the bunny, and I'm just kind of like, I got to see with my own two eyes. We see Tyson Kidd. He had a match against Adam Rose. I see the highlights of what had happened on SmackDown as the bunny was trying to mimic what R-Truth was doing. Adam Rose didn't really appreciate the bunny. being a little bit of a distraction as he was trying to get a W in the column there. R-Truth was able to pick up the win instead. He attacks the bunny. We pretty much see the same thing happen, only it's with a different wrestler as it's enticing kid. At one point, the bunny tried to get on the top turnbuckle, was looking for a high risk maneuver. Adam Rose telling the bunny, "No, get down. What are you doing? Get down. I've got this." Tyson Kidd comes up from behind and attacks him, sets him up for the sharpshooter. That's pretty much how he was able to pick up the victory. Once again, we had saw Adam Rose attack the bunny. Then he proceeds to leave out with his rosebuds and all that good stuff. So, I'm looking at this right now, and honestly, this could be the last attempt at trying to get Adam Rose. What's the right words I'm looking for? This could be a situation where WWE is trying to give Adam Rose that one last hoorah just to see if he can take advantage of an opportunity that they're trying to present to him and really be able to capitalize on it. I mean, I'm sure you guys can recall how Adam Rose, well, he really wasn't hot when he first came to the roster, but you couldn't help but say to yourself, with a little bit more work, maybe it can go somewhere. But it just seems like he's been at a stalemate, at least with this incarnation of this character he has going on. And I remember he was off TV for a little bit. Then they brought him back. He was plugging drinks and other stuff. Then he took a little bit of a hiatus again, and they brought him back to TV. Honestly, I'm just picking up the vibe that this could be it for him. If he isn't able to put two and two together, it might be it. And I'm gonna jump out there a little bit. Honestly, looking into the crystal ball for 2015 as far as future endeavors go, I would say before summer of 2015, Adam Rose is going to get his walking papers. That's just my honest opinion. Some of you may passionately disagree with me on that. It's okay, but that's just the honest vibe I'm getting. I'd love to know what you guys think with regards to Adam Rose and his future. Want to take this time out. Thank those of you that's checking us out right now. Black Avenger here, aka the Black House Row, Lee Sanders. See, for the most part, the stream's been doing pretty good. Quality looks to be on point. I like that. And I'm looking at some of the comments that's coming in from you guys right now. A lot of you guys got some good stuff going on. I'll actually read two, maybe three comments from you guys right now, and then we'll kind of alternate that way. Go back to the talk of Raw and come back to you guys' comments, and then we'll definitely end it on a strong note by talking about the Montreal screw job, and for very good reasons. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Not that many comments coming in so far, so maybe it is coming in, but it's just kind of taking its their sweet time rebounding at my end here. But keep the comments coming. Weston, hey Lee, are you going to read comments from the first Raw review you tried to do today? I have no idea what that means. We always read the comments, Weston. Come on, man. That's pretty much what our show is all about. Always being interactive. You know this, man. You know this. Brad, I really don't like what they are doing with Ryback. When he debuted a couple of years ago, he was over with the fans. Then they turned him heel and put him in a program with Cena and turned him into a joke. So then they repackaged him as a face a couple of weeks ago, and he was over once again, and now he is once again in a program with Cena. I hope he manages to survive it this time, but history has proven otherwise. Just look at Zack Ryder, Sandow, Ziggler, etc. He brings up some very valid points here, but we definitely need to make sure we provide you guys with an update as far as how Raw ended. Sounds like Brad might have missed the way Raw had ended. I'm not sure. Brad, if I'm wrong, let me know. But let's continue on with the talk of Raw here. Not that many more matches to talk about. Dolph Ziggler per the authority, he was in a match by his lonesome without any backup as he took on Mark Henry. Mark Henry really did not give a damn about a victory. It was all about putting the hurting on Dolph Ziggler. We actually saw him grab a steel chair, if I'm not mistaken, and he went to the body of Dolph Ziggler. This would cause the referee to disqualify Henry, awarding the victory to Ziggler. Henry wasn't done yet. He actually had grabbed some steel steps, put it in the ring. He was actually looking to do some serious and physical harm to Ziggler when all of a sudden Big Show came out. From there, those two guys they fought briefly as they were fighting one another over the steel steps. It ended with Big Show getting the upper hand as Mark Henry had quickly rolled out the ring. We would later find out in the night that Big Show would join the team of John Cena and Dolph Ziggler, and that would also be followed up by Sheamus offering his services to Team Cena. So it looks like that team uh, is a go. As at Survivor Series, the way it's looking right now, you got John Cena, you've got Dolph Ziggler, you got Big Show, you got Sheamus taking on Seth Rollins, Kane, Mark Henry, Rusev. We would find out a fifth member for one of those teams. Let's tell you a little bit about that. Brie, she lost to, who did she lose to? AJ Lee, as Nikki Bella was at ringside. Nikki did not like the fact that Brie wasn't able to do the job. She actually went in there, cheap shot AJ Lee from behind, while at the same time insulting her twin sister, saying "you suck," and had did her little, I don't know what she's calling it, rack pack, whatever, whatever. Every time I see her do it, it kind of reminds me of a Lex Luger move because I could have torture rack. There we go. Yeah, you remember how Lex Luger used to win the majority of his matches? He would just do that damn torture rack. I tell you though, man, the way he did it, it just made it really come off as if that thing actually freaking hurt. I've never been in a torture rack. I'm trying to think about the times where I briefly was a wrestler for a few matches. I think I had a torture rack in my repertoire. Believe it or not, I actually knew how to do the F5. I did it very well too. That thing was ugly. It was really, really ugly. Almost made a guy bleed from his mouth one time that I had did that crap. Let's see, what else can we talk about? So we know everything that's going about there. Main event match. We had Ryback taking on John Cena. Good match. I mean, really wasn't that much time that was put into it, though. I'm trying to think how the match had ended. We didn't see a decisive victor, from what I recall. If anything, I remember other members of the authority figure they had tried to get involved. I remember Ryback had lost his cool. I guess because he didn't like the fact that members of the authority had interfered in this match. Because talk about what a huge statement it would have been for Ryback to be able to get a victory over John Cena and get the bragging rights and all that. I remember Seth Rollins, Kane, they were in the face of Ryback. You had Ryback at one end, Seth Rollins in the middle, Kane on the other end. Seth Rollins trying to be the peacemaker. Ryback would attack Seth Rollins, then he would attack Kane. Numbers game, it was just too much though because eventually we saw Kane. He got back on him. I'm trying to think if Rusev might have attacked him. I know he was at ringside, but I'm not really sure if Rusev had attacked him. But I do know Big Show, he came down. See what else had happened. Somebody else came down. Sheamus came down for sure. It pretty much had ended with Ryback actually helping Team Cena. But once again, we see Ryback just when you think that maybe he's seen the light or whatever. And it's funny that I mentioned that because that's actually going to be a good segue. No, on the contrary, we see Ryback. He cleans house, gets out the ring, doesn't want to be in the ring celebrating with John Cena and them. He just walks away looking on at John Cena. So now you got John Cena kind of maybe saying to himself, well, damn, which side is Ryback on? So I guess that's kind of your cliffhanger going into Raw next week is okay, which side is Ryback truly on? Is he on the side of the authority or is he on the side of John Cena? I think Ryback let it be known perfectly clear that he's only looking out for himself. And quite honestly, some could maybe look at that as a tweener, if you will. I know one thing, a couple of weeks ago, myself, I believe Titus, he might have agreed with me on this, but when we first saw Ryback come back, I definitely jumped out there and said it would be badass if they went on ahead and they capitalize on Ryback's new momentum that he has and put him with Team Cena. It just would make a lot of sense. Learn from the past mistakes, do it right this go round. So, I don't know what to tell you guys. I mean, definitely some answers is going to have to be laid out for next week, creative wise, as that's definitely a good What's up with Ryback? I was talking about seeing the light and all that. We continue to see these vignettes for a new day is coming. I don't know if the stable is called a new day or what. We see Xavier Woods. He's doing his James Brown happy breakdancing and all that. Now it looks like there was a new vignette. I don't know how many of you guys saw it. Kofi Kingston is part of this. So you're kind of looking at that and you're like, alrighty then. So I'm not gonna bash it. I don't know what to make of this. Obviously, it's not doing a nation of domination thing. I'm not gonna comment any more of it. Does it seem a little silly? Yeah, I'll definitely admit that. It seems a little silly right now. It seems like a joke. But until I actually see all these respected members for what looks like it's going to be a stable appear before my very eyes on episode of Raw, SmackDown, and it goes down for a couple of weeks, at least 3 weeks is all I need to really get a good sense of a direction where they're going. They've had more than enough time to try to do their best to fine tune this. So I know some of you guys probably are looking for a little bit more of a comment from me with regards to that, but that's all I'm going to give you guys for now. As far as Raw tonight, I'm not going to remember this episode next week or maybe 2 weeks from now. A little bit of a lackluster episode, but I loved it. Ended in a really good way too because we saw a little bit of a tease during the Dolph Ziggler Mark Henry match. We saw like on the Titantron the set of eyes, and I'm looking at the eyes. I'm saying to myself, "That's Luke Harper." Nobody has more creepier eyes than Luke Harper. That's got to be him. And the way Raw ended, it cut to a backstage segment where we see Dolph Ziggler. He got tossed around as the authorities, Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, they're saying to themselves, what the hell are we going to do now? We just lost Ryback. Lo and behold, as they see poor Dolph Ziggler get tossed around like a rag doll, they look to see who it was. It's none other than Luke Harper, who tells them, I know how to be a team player. So the show goes off that way. So you got Ryback who said, bump this. And you really think about it, he got replaced by Luke Harper. So now you're looking at what happened with Dolph Ziggler. You can't help but say to yourself, what exactly is Dolph Ziggler's condition going to be next week? Is he going to be in or is he going to be out? And if so, does that mean John Cena is going to have to try to convince Ryback to take Ziggler's place? And then even if so, that still leaves a fifth spot open, if I'm not mistaken. So is it possible that maybe we could see Roman Reigns come back? Or is it possible that maybe we could, I don't know, maybe Chris Jericho? or who? If you got a fifth spot open, who's going to fill that spot? That's the main question. I'm not picking up the vibe. It would be Daniel Bryan, although that would be really awesome, but I'm not picking up that vibe. Dave Batista. I know there's probably a lot of people screaming Dave Batista. Dave is booked. He's got movies out the ass. He is. If he's going to be free, it might not be until like mid 2015 or fall 2015. That guy is free because he's got a lot of stuff that's going on. Let's. Oh yeah, there was another thing on Raw that we noticed. What was that? Eric Rowan. He actually popped up as well. It was during the. Trying to think offhand here. It was during the match will come to me. Tyson Kidd versus Adam Rose. He actually came out, didn't attack anybody. He just came out, went over to the commentator's booth and said, "I don't see her. Where is she?" And he disappeared. So I don't know what the hell he's looking for. You got me on that one. But on a funnier note, as he was saying that and he walked away, I couldn't help but think of the Shylets. Have you seen her? Those of you that know the lyrics to that song, you'll get that little bit of a quirky joke right there. But Raw was pretty passe. I mean, not enough to make me want to watch next week. I may end up watching it just to see what's going on. I don't know if we're going to do a show for you guys. I really don't. I've got my girlfriend nagging me in the ears saying, "But baby, that Monday nights, that's your show. Come on, now you got to do the show." And it's like, I don't know. I don't want to be in a position where the show Monday night is like really bad and then I'm in a funk and then all I can do is just rag on getting a crappy product for that week. I don't want to be all negative. So I don't know. We'll see how it is. Hopefully there'll be some bright spots next week that will definitely and for surely make me want to get on and talk about it. We'll see what happens. Let's, in the meantime, read a couple of more of you guys' comments here before we dive into the talk of Montreal. See, we're clocking in at about 40 minutes. That's good. All right. Refresh this here. What are my thoughts on the Bray Wyatt promo? It was okay. I mean, that's the thing with Bray Wyatt. Not to dog him, but he kind of rehashes the same thing over and over and over. I will say this, within recent weeks, it seems like Bray Wyatt is starting to be a little bit more short. He's starting to be a little bit more direct, keeping it very brief. I kind of need him to be more like that, quite honestly. Randy Orton is number 5. I'm trying to think. Jeremiah. It's possible that Randy Orton could be number 5, but you got to remember, I believe he's filming a movie right now. So whether or not he's going to have that be done in time for Survivor Series to possibly do some type of a run in, I mean, we'll see. I mean, don't get me wrong. I definitely said that a couple of weeks ago that it would be awesome if Randy Orton and John Cena, could put their differences aside and work together as a team. That's you're really not, and no disrespect, but you're really not saying anything new because we said this like about 3 weeks ago. Anybody that wants to challenge that, you can go backtrack to the previous Monday night episode. I said that already, but with what's going on with this whole movie schedule thing, I'm not really sure. Matthew, besides the storm, if Titus was here, he would have flipped out on the New Day promos, but they need to go back to the Leo Kruger gimmick for Adam Rose because it worked in NXT. I agree. I agree. I hope they build Ambrose versus Wyatt better in the remaining 2 weeks. WWE 2K15 2 on the 21st of this month for PS4 gamers. As for WWE UK Network, the 2014 contract expires after TLC pay-per-view. So the network, my show, in 2015, but as a Sky Channel, who knows? What are my thoughts on Alberto Del Rio? reaching some type of a settlement with WWE. I, I don't really want to talk about that. Alberto Del Rio is everywhere right now, Weston, and it's just kind of gotten to the point right now where I kind of need a little bit of a breather with regards to Alberto Del Rio. I'll say this and then I'll move along. He's saying so much stuff right now that it's just really, for me, as a fan of his work, it's definitely making it a little bit tricky as far as, okay, what shoot DVDs do I want to check them out on? Do I want to check them out with high spots, or do I want to check them out with RF video, or do I want to check them out with kayfabe commentaries? He's saying so much that it's really kind of making it be a little bit more, correction, a little bit more less enticing to want to check out these shoots he's going to be doing. As a Lucha Underground fan, just the fact that at some point he's going to be coming into that promotion and doing some work for them, I can't wait to see that. And that's all I got to say with regards to that. I'll probably talk a little bit more about ADR on our next radio edition of the RCWR show. I disagree with you on Adam Rose. The guy has a definite heel face and just needs a heel build up after he gets past this whole bunny deal and is put against better opponents and in better storylines. Hornswoggle, Eva Marie, and Khali still have jobs, for God's sakes. Hey, I don't have anything to do with the hiring, neither do you. It's one of those mysteries that just make you go, as far as why some people still have jobs. And I mean, let's do the process of elimination, Ramon. And look, some of you guys may be like, well, God, Lee, it's great that you're not in charge. But I'm sure I'm definitely reaching a core group of audience when I say this. You're running a wrestling promotion. You want to try to attract the adults. You want to try to attract the family. You want to try to attract the kids. You're probably going to maybe look at a guy like Hornswoggle and say to yourself, you know what? That's a little short guy. Kids will love him. They'll think that he's a kid, just got funny little facial hair or whatever. Do this little shortly challenged person right. I could probably make some money off of them. Khali, come on, man. Do we really need to talk about Khali? He's a sensation overseas. Don't believe me? Do your own respected homework. That's why WWE keeps the guy. Not to mention, sometimes you have some people, and I've heard this a lot. I've seen this on a lot of shoots as far as the people that have talked about Khali. I've heard this in many interviews. Khali is like one of the sweetest, nicest people backstage. And sometimes when you just have one of those type of personalities, it can just really, really go a long way. Does it suck that he's still in the company and he gets camera time? I'm not disputing that, but just the fact that in India or wherever the hell he's from, viewership and all that, it goes up because he's representing for the homelands. Okay, a little bit of international flavor. I'm probably going to look at a guy like Great Khali, and I'm probably going to say to myself, okay, I might be able to make a little bit of money off of him. All right? Eva Marie, come on. I've heard this time and time again with regards to Eva Marie. So what? She can't wrestle. She's freaking hot. Okay? She's freaking hot. All right? Let me tell you something. Marketing 101. If you are a podcaster, if you have your own radio show, if you have your own live web show, if you have your own respected company that you're trying to build up from scratch or whatever, and you're saying to yourself, I need merchandise. Well, you know what? I want t-shirts, I want coffee mugs, but I mainly want the t-shirts, I want the bandanas, I want this, I want tank tops, I want that. You got to push the hell out of that merchandise. And come on, guys, let's be for real. What sells merchandise? Say it with me one time. It starts with an M and it ends in an S. One, two, three. Models. So if I can have a hot ass smoking babe like Eva Marie pushing the RCWR show t shirt, yeah, you guys can talk some serious trash all you want about Eva Marie. She can't wrestle worth a damn. But watch Homegirl gonna be able to bring in some fettuccinis for Big Lee, and also bring in some merchandise sales. WWE knows exactly the reason why they have acquired the services of Eva Marie. And you know what? I've heard this stuff talked about her. Almost the same thing was said about the Bella twins. It took them a few years, but they finally got to that point where, now they're decent divas. They go in there, they put on a pretty good, entertaining match. They might not be on point as far as the mic work goes and all that. And it's unfortunate considering who they're dating and all that good stuff and married to and all that. But Eva Marie, I don't know, I guess me getting a little bit older and wiser, I guess I don't really look at things the way some people do. I don't know. That's just my respected opinion. You can disagree with me on that, but that's where I stand with regards to that. As far as Adam Rose goes, I hope for your sake and everybody's sake that they really do have a good, solid game plan set in motion for Adam Rose. I saw a little bit of his Leo Kruger character. I didn't see it initially on NXT. I did, however, get a chance to check it out after he came up as the Adam Rose character, and I definitely had enjoyed his work more as Leo Kruger. I hope it goes to that point. I really do. But I can't help but continue to say the same thing. I'm going to stick to that. I mean, where the hell is Fandango? When's the last time you saw Fandango? Don't be too surprised if maybe Fandango might also be on that future endeavors list. And see what else we got here. Luigi, do you think Rusev will be a future champion? He already is. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you talking about World Heavyweight Champion? Or WWE World Heavyweight Champion, whatever they're calling that belt now? Short answer, no. I recommend you check out previous episodes of the RCWR show on the downloads, iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker. We actually had talked about that at great length a couple of weeks ago. Weston, I have no comment on Roman Reigns taking acting classes. See. And Austin, what's up, Austin? Luke Harper's addition to the match adds a different feel. Wasn't expecting him to return so soon. Also, I assume that from the New Day promo, Big E, Kofi, Xavier will start their group in the near future. Looking forward to it. Yeah, it seems like it might be pretty good. Let me see how much time we got left because I wanted to talk about. Yeah, we're under an hour. Okay, looks like we can talk about Montreal. If I didn't get to you guys' comments, I will definitely respond to you guys throughout the week. All right. And let me just take a look at the comments one more time here. All right, so we're good to go. Montreal, the Montreal Screwjob. So interesting statistic that had came about over the weekend. I wasn't sure if you guys were aware of it, but this past Sunday, I believe it was, we had reached a milestone. If you are a wrestling historian or a big wrestling fan, this past weekend had marked the 17th anniversary of the Montreal Screwjob, which is arguably one of the most controversial finishes in pro wrestling history. I mean, here we are now. I mean, almost 20 years, and like it is something that is still talked about this very day. For those of you that are not familiar with the Montreal Screwjob, in a brief recap, at the November 9th, 1997 Survivor Series pay per view, then WWF champion Bret Hitman Hart, he went in to defend his title against Shawn Michaels. It was supposed to be Bret Hart's last match before he went over to WCW. Now, this match would end in controversy when Shawn Michaels would put Bret Hart in the sharpshooter. Clear as day, Bret Hart, he doesn't tap out, yet the referee, Earl Hebner, he calls for the bell. The bell is rung. Shawn Michaels becomes the new WWF champion. Bret Hart stands there pissed. Everybody in attendance there in Montreal, they knew that Bret Hart had got screwed. We see Vince McMahon. He has a few words with Bret. Bret spits in Vince McMahon's face. Later on, backstage, Vince McMahon would try to talk to Bret Hart one on one, surrounded by, I think, Pat Patterson, Bruce Pritchard. Can't remember who the other person was that was in there. I think Shane McMahon might have been in there. And Bret Hart had decked the hell out of Vince McMahon, gave him a nice, good black shiner right there. And thus, the night Bret Hart got screwed, or shortly after on a new episode of Monday Night Raw, that infamous interview with Jim Ross and Vince McMahon said, "No, I didn't screw Bret. Bret screwed Bret, as he did not obey by the rules. He did not try to go in what was supposed to be tradition for a champion that's getting ready to bow out of the company, or for a wrestler that's getting ready to bow out of the company, but to be a champion and you're getting ready to leave the company, you're supposed to do the right thing, and you're supposed to do good business, because after all, a lot of people had helped you get to that point where you got to. At least that was Vince McMahon's whole argument. And a lot of people, they had stated their opinions on this over the years. It's a little bit divided or whatnot. Of course, some people kind of feel as though this was a big old work or whatnot. Look, for you guys that maybe are not familiar with the Montreal Screwjob, you can check it out on the WWE Network right now. You can check it out for free if you're in the United States, as the WWE Network is being offered for free this entire month. To my knowledge, no credit card is needed. If one is needed, let me know. We'll definitely put that correct info out there. But you can check it out on there. Also, while you're at it, I would recommend that you check out Wrestling with Shadows, Bret Hart story. Um, that really had did a good. It was a good documentary piece on everything that was going on with Bret Hart and his time in the WWE, and WCW offering him a lot of money to go and work for them, as Vince McMahon reached the point where originally Bret Hart had signed like a multi-year deal with the WWE. I think he was going to be there for like 15, 20 years or something like that. But then Vince McMahon started to think more realistically that, you know what, this really isn't a good move. Thought he was, but no, he actually tried to encourage Bret to head on over to WCW, take their deal and all that. But I recommend you check out that DVD. You can also check out Bret Hitman Hart, the Bret Hitman Hart story, Best There Is, Best There Was, Best There Ever Will Be. That was a really, really great DVD just for the documentary stuff alone. That was really good. Check that out. Another thing you can check out, honorable mention, there was a Bruce Pritchard DVD that we had reviewed. I think it was called Bruce Pritchard Guest Booker. Yeah, now that it's coming back to me. Basically, he had handled the whole Montreal screw job and kind of tackled it in a way where the question is asked, what if the Montreal Screwjob didn't happen, how would Bruce Pritchard had booked things if they were able to work things out with Bret Hart? Knowing what they knew as far as the aftermath of the screw job, what would Bruce do to switch things up? And it was really, really good stuff. You can check it out. It's on our YouTube channel right now. But check those things out. Good stuff right there. And other than that, that's it. I'm going to take a look at you guys' comments one more time before we get ready to shut it down for tonight here. Refresh here. You enjoying the episode so far? Make sure you give it a like, share it a number of ways. All right. Let's see what we got here. No, I was about to say the Weeb, the L. That's what I'm gonna call you, man. The L. Lee, what are your thoughts on a possible Rock versus Triple H Mania match? For old time's sake, it would be nice to see them go at it. If you're asking me if it would happen next year, I think, as we all know, the way the Rock schedule is looking, he's another one that has movies coming out the ass. He's definitely not going to be able to do anything this WrestleMania. Year after, maybe, but personally, I wouldn't mind seeing those two guys go at it one more time. I think it would be really freaking awesome. And it looks like that's it. I think we got caught up on everybody's comments. That's good. All right, so one more time, quick programming note. We are not going to be doing a Tuesday night radio edition of the RCWR show, but we will resume regular programming this Wednesday night. We will definitely be doing a new Impact Showdown for you guys. And for you Lucha Underground fans, we will definitely have a new Lucha Underground review up for you all to check out. In the meantime, speaking of reviews, if we got any Foo Fighters fans that's out there, I just reviewed earlier today. I reviewed their eighth studio album, Sonic Highways. If you haven't picked it up yet, or you're a little bit curious what I thought about the album, check it out. It's about, I think, 14 minutes long. It was on point. Looks like it's been picking up some decent buzz so far. Also, if we have any comic book fans, I'm sure you guys probably had heard about the news on CM Punk, Marvel Comics. If you haven't, backtrack. You can check out the news that I have broke with regards to that. And that's going to do it. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for, man? Hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on all the great content we do for you here on a weekly basis. And in the meantime, for the one and only Titus Machiavelli, on behalf of you guys, thank you all so much for representing. And I will see you all next go round. Please be safe, and most importantly, be kind to one another. Happy Veterans Day, everybody. Take care.